Okay, so I guess we can start. And hi, everyone, once again. I'm Al. I'm in charge of marketing at devtodev. And today we're joined by a growth product manager at devtodev, Anastasia Bogapova. And she'll tell us everything about A/B testing at devtodev. And overall, we'll discuss the fundamentals and let you know about the insights, how to analyze the result of A/B tests effectively. So the recording is on. We'll share the recording with everyone who registered. So stay tuned. Sometime next week, we will send everyone a follow-up with the video and with the presentation from Anastasia. So also do let us know if you're interested in A/B testing. Basically, if you're a product manager, if you're a business strategist, analyst, developer, or just interested in A/B testing of your hypothesis. So this is the right place for you now. But we have a lot more in store regarding A/B testing, so we definitely can share a lot more about A/B test. So do let us know if you're interested in any advanced sessions as well. And for now, Anastasia, the floor is yours.
Thanks for the intro, Ella. I guess today's webinar won't be so difficult as my surname, but I want to recall that A/B testing is a necessary tool for validating hypotheses and improving products. I really appreciate you participate in this webinar, and I hope you will find this information useful and can apply it in your work. Let's start reviewing our agenda. Today, we will cover the following topics. Why A/B testing so important, key phases, requirements, methods and types of A/B testing, analyzing test results on devtodev platform, and common pitfalls. Also, at the end, I will answer your questions. And as Sally said, you may write me through email. I will answer on the other questions after. Since you joined this webinar, I assume you already recognize the importance of A/B testing and interested in it. But let's go back to basics. A/B testing, like other hypothesis validation methods, is a technique that allows us to accurately assess the impact of changes on user behavior or some key metrics. Without A/B testing, it's like shooting in the dark. You may see some changes, but you can understand it's due to your actions or something else. A/B testing brings clarity, allows us to attribute success or some disadvantages, some fails to specific changes. Imagine without A/B testing, it's 2% increase could be from anything like seasonal trends, market shifts. I guess you met these situations. With A/B testing, if we see some like 5% increase in test group, we can confidently say that it's because the new feature we rolled out. Of course, if we set it up our experiment correctly, it's important too. Today, we will discuss some topics about I'm misspoken, sorry. We're starting with setting up a clear hypothesis. It's really crucial to get this right. It should be straightforward and testable. For example, if we add a scheduler with reminders to the app along with customization, we will see an increase in our retention rate. It's good enough hypothesis. Once we have our hypothesis, we will develop the feature, organize the test, prepare our audience, launch the test, and finally analyze the results. All these topics we will discuss today. And at the end, if our test shows positive results, we will roll out the feature to all users. Let's jump to A/B test designing. Setting up a successful A/B test means answering the 6 key questions to clarify our goals and our A/B test parameters, which are absolutely important for making it work efficiently. First, we need to pinpoint exactly what we're tweaking and what feature or some element are we aiming to improve. Then let's consider the idea why we are making this change. What's our end goal here? What's our purpose? Next, who's going to experience this change? Who will be our key segment? Will it affect to every user, or we are focusing on a particular group? Once we have a clear picture, it's time to decide on the scope of variations, how many different versions we were going to test. It will be just A/B testing with 2 versions or something else. Also, we need to determine our main focuses, like key metrics. Are we looking to boost retention metric, increase engagement, or perhaps something else, maybe need promotion score? Finally, we define what success will be look like. What outcomes will indicate us that our experiment was a success? It's in our analytics terms. It means sorry, I forgot the word. Estimated uplift. It's estimated uplift of our key metric. And as you see, we have a plan. Let's move forward on it. As I said, you need to choose how many variations you will have. Deciding on the types of tests is important as well. Here are the flavors we can pick from, each suited to different needs and tasks. The classic A/B test, it's a situation when we compare just 2 versions. Usually it's control version, like default statement of your app or website, and another one, test version. If we're feeling more adventurous, or we want to face some difficulties, we may compare more than 2 versions. It will names like ABN test. The N will mean number of your versions, which lets us extend our comparison to multiple variants. And the last is multivariate testing. This type dives into examining multiple variants and their interaction at once. You will see like 3 general versions, A, B, C, and interaction of all these versions. It's very difficult method. Don't recommend to use it when you're starting your A/B testing journey, but you may use it after. Each of this type has its unique characteristics. It may be chosen based on your business goals or your future and current situation. Let's move to our hypothesis, what we want to test. In A/B testing, there is a wide range areas you can explore. You might test different processes, tweak elements on interface, refine texts, communications, overhaul the entire application logic, like all APIs, methods, backend architecture. It may happen. Also, you may test some product models, experiment with pricing strategies, make it carefully because there are a lot of legal rules. It's key to make sure that each change you test is significant enough to potentially influence user behavior. You need to choose some meaningful changes. This approach ensures that every adjustment has the potential to provide meaningful insights into how change affects users. Also, it's important to figure out the estimated uplift, its relation to your business goals. To get the right, you may use sample size calculators if you are not professional data analyst. These tools help ensure that your test lasts long enough and gathers sufficient data to reach statistically significant results. It's important to calculate this number before you're launching the test. We have some methodologies that provide us to calculate it after, but if you talk about basic A/B testing, it's important to do it before starting A/B testing. For instance, by digging into historical data, you may found some estimated uplift. Digging into historical data, previous experiments, research, we can pinpoint the minimum detectable effect and calculate the necessary sample size. Also, you may see test duration form. It comes from sample size and number of observation. Usually, it's daily active users. This method is key to avoid common pitfalls such as stopping test too early or running it with a small number of users. By meticulously planning test duration leads us to reliable and actionable results. Let's go forward. Also, I want to share with you an example of typical test design. After the initial preparation phases, we draft a document or some tasks that lays out what will be tested and how it will be tested, and our test timeline. It's important to accurately plan and review all stages. And it's important to do it before we launch our test. We can afford to wait until the experiment is over to understand which of the hundreds metrics will be impacted and what the original hypothesis was. Our hypothesis for this test, in this example, that removing the name field will boost the sign-in rate. Our estimated uplift is 3%, and in K metric like conversion rate to sign up. And our additional metrics, bounce rate and average time on page. We will conduct this test in example over 2 weeks to observe full cycle of user behavior and interaction and collecting estimated size of observation, like 10,000, for example, in this case. Additionally, for more insights and example of different tests, make sure to check out the pinned message and the link number 2. It will provide you more examples of A/B testing on devtodev platform. Yep. Now we have decided on the test design. Let's move to devtodev platform. I will share it like screenshots to avoid wasting a lot of time for sharing screen. First, we need to define our audience. and set up some segments rule. For example, we can choose such custom parameters or default users conditions, some default events like user device, location, or user behavior patterns, frequency or PEP usage or frequency of purchases. And also we need to set up audience size. We may use maximum number of observation and set up it, or we may set up. Sorry, I forgot. We may set up audience friction condition, or we may set up number of observations as audience condition. The next step is setting up our goals. We need to define our key metrics and additional metrics that we want to track. Key metric is primary indicators of success. Full A/B testing will be calculated based on these key metrics. And additional metrics help us to provide context and deep insights into user behavior. For instance, if our key metric, example that I showed you, is sign-up rate, our additional metric could be bounce rate and average time on page. We also need to determine the duration of the test, or we may set up automatic rules based on predefined criteria, like achieving a certain level of confidence, like 95% or 97%, or achieving a number of users. Or, as it's shown on this screenshot, we may set up duration in days. In this example, our test will be finished after 16 days. This test, also it's important to note that the test shouldn't run long enough for collecting enough data, but not so long that we waste resources. Like A/B test for 7 months, it sounds like wasting resources. We need to test hypotheses fast and one after one, not like hypothesis per quarter. Let's go forward. And the last, our group settings. We're creating a config containing various groups and their parameters. In this example, there are 3 groups, and per one parameter per group. After how it works, I want to say. After the moment, then when devtodev SDK reports that the user has been successfully included in experiment, one of the groups becomes available, and SDK reports that some user got some of these groups, and this variable and this value. The control group usually includes user they currently are, like default statement. It allows you to test other variants against a baseline to see the changes in these metrics. For each group, you need to define a set of variables. It may be one variable or a few. For example, you might set variable price in tier that could have values like standard T, default statement, increase 10%, and for example 10% decrease value. It it helps you to test different pricing strategies and reach how it relates to user conversion rate. After the settings this group, you'll also be able to check the experiment functionality. It will be available after this section in devtodev platform. You may choose your user and test all variables and on your app interface. After this step, I suppose you launched an A/B test. Congrats. But the work doesn't stop here. There are important tasks that need to be completed while the test is running. During your A/B test, it's important to monitor the feature closely to identify and resolve any issues as they arise. This helps ensure that the feature works correctly and the data that you collected is accurate. Also, resist a temptation to pick at the results too early. Analyzing data too soon can affect the statistical integrity of the test and compromise the reliability. It's important to stick the planned duration and set the number of users to get reliable and valid results. If you don't have enough time for testing twice each test. However, it's the most intriguing part, the test results. To minimize mistakes and reduce the human factor in summarizing test outcomes, the devtodev platform automatically calculates the test results for you. Let me show an example. You may see my screen. If it works, maybe write in chat. If you see devtodev screen sharing. Okay. I will try to see that you will see. You may see new offer test. The current experiment status, like finish it with success. With group A marked as a winner with 97% probability to be the best. And our test, as you may see, includes two groups. It's 18,000 users per group. But before diving into the overall results of this example, let's talk about experiment setup. You may see it on information panel. Our test named as like offer test after onboarding. Audience fraction was 50-50%. And our key metric, primary metric, was paying conversion, duration 30 days. And the control group was with default start offer. And our group A with test offer got limited offer. You may see on the graph of probability to be the best, the description why it's important not to stop test too early. Because as you may see, on the first 5 days, the group, the control group with default statement was higher probability to be success. But at the end, the group A win in this experiment. Also, if we focusing on our key metric, paying conversion, we may see that it's like twice higher comparing to control group. also we may open and see the user's funnel. It shows us that on the steps, on the second step and on the third step, group A was conversion in group A was higher too. Like 15%, 3%, and 49%. I guess it's all about demonstration of our test, but you may find it in our demo platform on the first link, I guess. Let's go back to our presentation. If we're talking about methodology, there are a lot of approaches to analyzing test results, but we will discuss two main approaches: the Bayesian approach and the frequencies approach. As you may see, devtodev use Bayesian approach. This method integrates prior assumption about the data and continuously updates the probabilities as new data comes in each observation. This can be particularly useful when you are working with limited data, but if you have strong prior beliefs about expected outcomes, the quality of these results kind of lower than comparing to frequentist approach. On the other hand, frequentist approach relies on p-value to determine statistical significance and typically requires larger sample size to ensure accuracy. Choosing the right approach depends on your specific goals and conditions. It's important to align the method that will fit to your experiment and to your metrics. It will depend on, for example, on type of your metric. It's conversion or absolute value. You may choose more fitable approach for calculate different types of metrics. We reached common pitfalls after calculating the test results. In a lot of cases, you may reach some failures, some pitfalls, and mistakes. So let's discuss them and explore how to steer clear it. From my experience, majority part of mistakes happen because of the rush. If you don't want to spend twice much time testing your hypothesis, it's better to try to take into account the main pitfalls. Some of the most frequent issues arise when changes made are too subtle to detect any significant difference, not having a large enough user base to ensure statistical validity, or allowing audience overlap when you run multiple tests simultaneously. It may screw the results too. Additionally, as I said previously, picking results or stopping tests too early, misinterpreting the data, can lead to incorrect conclusions. That's why it's crucial to carefully select your audience, to calculate your audience size, to prevent any overlaps, and tailor your tests. As a wrap, all these links will be available with our webinar record. I want to remind that we have intentionally focused on the basics to make sure everyone could follow along. speak in one language, to deep understanding of A/B testing. It isn't always necessary for all roles. However, if you are interested in exploring key concepts, we provided additional resources. As I said, these links will be available in the email with webinar recording. As Ella said at the start, we can offer a dedicated advanced webinar on hypothesis testing and A/B testing. A survey will appear in the webinar chat in a second. I need to create it. Yep. If you are interested in additional webinar, please don't hesitate to answer in this survey. Yep. I guess you got it. That's all about my part of presentation. Thank you for your attention. Now I will be ready to answer your questions, if there are any.
Yes, there are a lot, quite a few. Thank you, Anastasia, for your presentation. And we have actually questions about hypothesis testing, and there is one about creating hypothesis. Can you speak, the question was, can you speak a little bit also about creating a hypothesis and what to do if I have multiple hypotheses?
If we're talking about like junior specialists, not expert in A/B testing, I recommend to divide hypothesis to dilute it, to create multiple A/B tests and set up it on divided segments. If we're talking about creating hypotheses in general, I need to give some advices about creating hypotheses or something else.
Oh, I guess it was a question in the very beginning when you went through the agenda. So I guess it was a general question, like how do you create hypotheses? For example, you can create hypotheses, like you can check analytics, see there is some bottlenecks or problems, and therefore comes the hypothesis.
Yeah, I consider. You may pay attention to our articles. I guess we discussed these topics, like how to find some raw points in your product. Maybe our previous article also related to this question. You need to find difficult bottlenecks, difficult points in your product, and create what if we create ideas like if we change something, we achieve something else. It's simple rule for hypothesis creating.
Yeah, for example, if you use devtodev and you see that some of your users are dropping off or just don't complete some actions, you see there is a problem and you formulate the hypothesis. Also, you analyze an onboarding funnel, see where most of the users are dropping off and identify patterns, and then just create a hypothesis that guides all users through all those patterns. And find the way, hypothesize on the ways which of the points could increase conversion rates. Also, gathering feedback from customers could be one of the options to see what they feel about the product, what they're liking, what is convenient, inconvenient, and just quickly A/B test if that's a good fit for you. So yeah, that's about hypothesis, about creating hypothesis, and what if there are multiple hypotheses?
Firstly, you may prioritize your hypothesis, create some scoring like RICE or something else method. You may use RICE or something else method. Evaluate it based on its potential impact on the your K metrics, your North Star metrics. And focus on hypotheses that are closely aligned with your current business goals. Or, as I said at the start of our Q&A session, you may divide hypothesis and test each hypothesis on other user segments. For example, you may create a very ambitious hypothesis for USA market and test it on it. And you may create another one hypothesis that will fit some European markets, MENA region or something else, and you may test it on this region. Or on the other segment of users, like iOS, Android users, or something else.
Okay, we have another question. How many additional metrics are okay for a test? Will they affect the key metric? The correction is usually applied when there are more metrics and the key metric change may be affected.
If you're talking about dev-to-dev interface, we are limited the number of secondary metrics. The limit is 5 items. If you're talking about how many additional metrics may be in general, it depends on you. But also, I need to say that if you're talking about results of your A/B test, it won't be depend from additional metrics where it's just additional metrics.
It provides additional information, so
yeah,
it
it provides just additional information. If you will see that one of 10 additional metrics will be raised in test group, but K metrics won't. It's not means that A group statistically raised comparing to control group.
Okay, thank you. We have another question. Is it possible to filter A/B test results by country in the dev-to-dev report?
Yeah, it's possible in dev-to-dev reports in general, if you're talking about dashboards and reporting panels. If you're talking about interface that I showed you, A/B testing results, it's not possible for now.
But at the same time, we can save user group properties, which can be used as filters in reports. So
yeah, in reports and dashboards after, yeah, you may use the A/B test groups and it's.
Yeah, and compare metrics and conversion funnels between test groups as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for answering on our survey. I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people are interested in more deeper A/B testing webinars. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you updating. Thanks for coming, and yeah, we'll be following up with the webinar link with the video and with the presentation sometime next week. And thanks, Anastasia, for hosting, and thanks everyone for questions and participation. See you.
See you. Bye.